Right?
Thanks, Tasmin.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Shane. I think that's you.
Hi, Shane.
Hi, Shane.
Not used to the whole Zoom things. I'm just testing all my functionalities.
That's okay. We all learn. Notice is hereby given of the 104th Annual General Meeting of Uviwe Child and Youth Services held on Thursday, the 23rd of September, 2021 at 5 o'clock. That's 5 p.m. This meeting is taking place online via Zoom and Facebook Live in adherence with our Constitution and the COVID-19 regulations. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining Uviwe's annual general meeting that is being held online. We have two apologies from Bernie Dolly from Ikala Trust, as well as Kenola Patha from NMG. They couldn't make it this evening, but we thank all of those that have joined, that have taken time out of their busy schedules, and as well as using some of your data. Well, to start off this evening, we will be starting off with a video. We would like to share some of the highlights of the past year, some of the special and golden moments that Uviwe has had, along with the communities that we serve. So please do enjoy. Thank you so much for sharing in some of the special moments. We know that a picture says a lot, a picture says 1,000 words. Although there will be a lot of reports shared this evening. I noticed that a few more have joined, so welcome to those who have just joined. Just some online meeting arrangements. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Tasmin Rockman, the Youth Coordinator at Uviwe Child and Youth Services, and I will be your MC for this evening. So yes, please do take note that this meeting will be recorded. And you are able to download any documents that is shared this evening in the chat section. The only document that will not be shared is the financial statements, which can be requested and it will be emailed to you upon request. And then the way that this evening will work is that we will move from one report to the other. I will be introducing each speaker. And our meeting online host, who is Carla Juncker, will be switching screens. And then please note that everyone will be muted and videos will be switched off for the duration of the meeting. This is just to allow for better experience in terms of our connection. So thank you for understanding regarding that. But you are welcome to share with us some of your comments in the chat section. And then if we have adoption of reports or endorsement of the decisions when it's requested, you can click on raise your hand. You'll find that towards the bottom left by reactions. If you just click on there, you will see that there's an option to raise your hand. So please do make use of that function when it is asked for adoption of the reports. And then just the last thing, please double check that your name is actually your name on your Zoom account. You can just hover your cursor over your block or your face, or your name in this instance, because we don't see your video. Towards the right top part, you will notice 3 dots, and you can just rename yourself over there. It's the last option. Okay, and now we will move on to the adoption of the minutes of the 2020 AGM by Trudy Beneder. Thank you so much, Trudy.
Thank you very much, Tasmin. Good afternoon, everybody. The adoption of the minutes of our previous meeting. The meeting in 2020 was held on the 13th of August, 2020. The minutes have been circulating. So if I can just get someone to propose the minutes to be correct, and then a seconder, if you can just propose and seconder through raising your hand, please. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Anna-Louise. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trudy. We will now have the chairperson's report, which will be done by our chairperson, Mr. Shane Agnew. Thank you, Shane.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Tasneem, can you hear me?
Yes, all good to go.
100%. I would say then good afternoon all that's online. Dear the Uviwe staff, first of all, our partners of Uviwe, the board members and members of our community who could join us this evening. I want to say welcome to the annual general meeting and thank you, really thank you to all the stakeholders who are able to attend our virtual session this evening. Your attendance is really, really much appreciated during this busy time and everybody has busy schedules. Taking the time out a day before a public holiday is really appreciated. As I reflect on the journey and we review our current climate, I think we can all agree the world has formed some of a new normal. And we're all trying to manage this new normal the best we know and understand how. This statement, I think, is true for Uviwe as an organization and for the team at Uviwe, who is working very hard to ensure we continue to serve our beloved communities. As we battle to understand the new normal and we focus all our energies on building resilience to manage the constant change and challenges it would be, I think, amiss of me not to acknowledge the team's output during these difficult times, hence the review of where we're at. As I reflect as chairman and review the overall impact Uviwe had on the community, I'm truly humbled by what and how Uviwe has made an impact on the community. As a chairman of the board, I'm confident to share with every one of us that Uviwe has delivered extraordinary results during what I deem very difficult times and very challenging times. Delivering these results was not easy for the team, wasn't easy for the organization, as we faced many challenges over and above just the COVID pandemic on a daily basis. The review speaks to the mantra we had, which is hashtag leave no child behind. And the second part, it says from first step to the first job, the organization Uviwe continued to deliver on various programs and created what is deemed a safe space over this period for all children and youth within the community. If you have looked at our website, Uviwe has worked together with the communities and our partners to make sure that no child is left behind to die of malnutrition, no child is left behind without an education. No child is left behind to fail at school. No child is left behind to fail in life. These were the foundation or the building blocks where the programs was established from to assist our community. I've extracted a snippet from a website, which I think I need to share with you during my overview. And the snippet speaks to the following, which I think holds true to where we're at. Vulnerable children and youth from the northern areas of Nelson Mandela Bay are now more than ever afflicted by poverty, hunger as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak. The education is disrupted and they are left confused and they frightened while their members are falling ill or they cannot work. Their lives are put at risk. Their safety and well-being is compromised and they wandering around the streets meaninglessly. Many face the possibility of being forgotten and left behind during and beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. It is with the above in mind that Uviwe has stepped up in the community and acted to the call to ensure vulnerable children and youth are not left behind during and beyond the pandemic. As an organization, we try our utmost best to deliver on the mandate entrusted to us. We must acknowledge some of the challenges the team has encountered during the year. And with that being said, we sadly said goodbye to a few staff members during the period under review, some of which was voluntary departures, some was impacted by funding challenges we had within the organization. As we made the tough calls during this time to scale down on certain areas, with the main objective to support the sustainability of our organization, we acknowledge the impact of limited funding available from external partners who are also facing difficult financial pressures. Securing new donors, funders, and sponsors has become the biggest challenge, not only for Uviwe, but for all NPOs and NGOs out there. The COVID pandemic truly has far-reaching implications. With this said, we would like to thank, really like to thank our current sponsors, our funders, our donors, and supporters for partnering with Uviwe during these difficult times. Your commitment to invest in Uviwe continues to reap the benefits intended. And as organization, we will strive to ensure our partnership remains impactful in the communities we serve. A sincere thank you from all of us at Uviwe, and really a heartwarming thank you from the communities we serve, as that is where we deliver the impact. Then to Anna Louise, our ex-director, a huge thank you, and really grateful for all that you have done for Uviwe and the communities we serve. You have carried the flag of the organization and you have made a remarkable impact, not just on the communities, but on staff, on our partners, on our sponsors, and the communities. We will truly miss you, Anna Louise. Your leadership, your energy, and your passion for the organization is unmatched. You are truly a remarkable individual, and we were blessed to have you as part of the Uviwe family. We wish Anna Louise all of the very, very best, and we know that she'll enjoy a new season in Western Cape, and she'll make an impact as she did within our community. Just on that note, the board has initiated the recruitment process to find a suitable candidate for the vacant director's position. As we explore all options available to us, we have full faith that our business continuity measures we have put in place will sustain the organization and allow us to have an even better impact on the community going forward. The current leadership, together with the board, support will ensure that day-to-day operations are met and our strategic objectives are delivered. Colleagues, friends, partners, board members, in conclusion, we are satisfied that management has the right level of focus to ensure that emerging challenges and risks are dealt with, while we're staying close to staff, close to the community and stakeholders. We will continue to build long-lasting relationships with all stakeholders and ensure that we deliver on our promise to serve the community as we did in the last financial year. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Shane. I'd just like to echo something that you said. Um, as a staff member at the Uviwe, it hasn't been easy. Um, just as many other organizations have also experienced challenges during this pandemic. But we are truly thankful to those who have continued to support us in various ways to continuing to see our vision unfold and to just empower our heart to impact communities and to change lives. So thank you so much for sharing that report. And we will now have some financial reflection on the past year. Ian Ferreira Massain will present the financial report, and he is from Mesos. Thank you so much, Ian.
Thank you so much. I really have to reiterate what Shane said when he said that we really did deliver extraordinary result under very difficult circumstances, especially with everything that happened with the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's put a massive strain on many non-profit organizations in South Africa to gain funding from corporates and even government, because even government's financial resources are stretched. With that being said, if I look at the financial statements, Uviwe is still in an accumulated funds surplus position on the balance sheet of 2.1 million. It decreased slightly from last year from 2.6 to 2.1 this year, and the only reason is that there was a slight loss in the current year, which is perfectly understandable and expected given the circumstances of about 496,000. But having said that, when I say that they really did exceptionally well in the circumstances, is if you compare the income statement for the current year to the previous year, where a loss of over 2 million was made in the previous year and only a loss of under 500,000 in the current year, I mean, that shows that they've really gone the extra mile despite COVID-19 to tighten down on the expenditure and ensure that the financial performance of Uviwe is handled appropriately and very carefully. So well done to management on that as well. With regards to our audit report, we believe that the financial statements are materially correct. There's been no major issues that's been identified. The qualifications that we do have in our audit report is pretty similar to the prior year. And then obviously we also have a qualification included on the completeness of revenue, which is generally a standard qualification on the financial statements of non-profit organizations. that is involved in fundraising activities. With that being said, really, it's quite short and sweet. In a nutshell, like I said, the loss significantly reduced from the prior to the current year. The entity is in the accumulated funds position, which is still a good picture going forward. And from our side, there are no major concerns. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ian, for the financial report. It is now to adopt the financial report. Is there any proposer to adopt the report as correct? Thank you, Shane. Is there any seconder? Thank you, Trudy. I hereby confirm that the financial report has been adopted as correct. We will now move on to some governance areas, and we have Trudy Beneder who will now deal with the election of the board members. Thank you, Trudy.
Thank you so much, Tasmin. Yes, I think that any organization is just as strong as their board. So I would really like to take this opportunity to thank all of our board members. I think that we were very fortunate in the sense of some of our board members only entering their second year being on the board, which always brings along a bit of continuity. Once you join the board, it's always getting used to the organization and the programs. It takes a little bit of time to find your feet. And I think that we have really been blessed in 2020-21 to have board members that have been part of our organization and then also of our board for a year and a bit, which also makes it a lot easier. So I would really like to thank all of our board members for the period 2020-21 for your commitment, definitely for your valuable contributions. And yes, as with every other AGM, the AGM is the opportunity where we unfortunately have to say goodbye to some of our board members, but also then welcome new board members. So I would like to just say thank you very much to Lizette Ferns and to Violet Lupuwana, who will now no longer be serving on our board. Lizette and Violet, thank you very much for your valuable contributions, for your commitment, for looking out for Uviwe, and for assisting us to render the best possible service that we can render to the children and youth of our communities. But then we are also very excited about welcoming 2 new board members. So yes, we would like to welcome Mandy Meyer to the board of 2021-22, and then also Henry Uithaler. It is a privilege to have both of you as new members of our board, and we look forward to working with you and having you as part of the team. Can I get any proposer and seconder for the acceptance of the board, the old board members, together then with Henry Uithaler and Mandy Meyer as new board members? Any objections? Thank you very much, Tasmin. It doesn't seem as if there's any objections. So thank you very much. The new board is then adopted. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trudy. Sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, it was just some echo on my side. Okay, thank you so much. Congratulations to the new board for 2022. We trust that our board will continue to lead us from strength to strength. And thank you to those board members who have led us in the past year. We will now move on to the director's report by Anna-Louise Olivier. Thank you so much, Anna-Louise, for joining us today. We appreciate your attendance this evening and your report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tasmin, as well as everyone that's part of the AGM. I actually thought this must be a smooth ride. Why am I anxious? Why am I nervous? But I don't think one can ever do justice quite rightly, Shane, you've said it as the chairperson, but also Ian from an auditing point of view, that, if you look back at what Uviwe has achieved during an extremely difficult time, I think then my nervousness comes from a place of how do I actually represent what Uviwe has done in a way that it does justice to people's commitment, their sacrifices, a lot of changes that occurred. So yeah, my nerves probably from that, and not necessarily because I'm sitting in another province. But I do want to say thank you very much for inviting me to deliver this report. It is actually my privilege and honor to join tonight's AGM, even if it's from a different province. But yes, thanks, Carla. I know that you will work the slides. I think I just want to start by saying that, it's a cliche and sometimes we just use the words teamwork makes the dream work. But I can honestly tell you, I think if there's a lot of things that I carry with me from Uviwe, but one of the things is actually the team effort, where even the times that we were a bit angry or frustrated with each other, that we could still find our common goal in terms of why we exist as an organization and the children that we're actually there for. That was always the golden thread that could pull us back into a space of forget about the differences, focus on why we're there. And I truly believe that is why I know it's a tough time at the moment for Uviwe, similarly to other NGOs, but Uviwe will pull through. There's more strength and there's a lot more opportunity that's still going to come Uviwe's way. But yeah, from my side, I want to say to the team, I know we're now in different provinces. I know, it's one of those relationships that we just redefine the relationship. But I do miss you guys, I must be honest. Starting from scratch to build trust, to build networks, to build, that we just look at each other and okay, this one is going to do this, the other one is going to fit in that space. Yeah, it's an awesome team at Uviwe. I do miss you guys. And it's an honor for me tonight to actually represent the work that's been done. So I'm going to try my best to do that. I know normally short or doing things in a short space of time is not my best attribute. So I'm going to try my best, but that means you will hold me to time. Yeah, if we look back at March last year with COVID, Shane, you've also mentioned that I don't think anyone could really even imagine what was going to happen in our country. And as much as what we wanted to almost say initially, it's a wonderful holiday, the whole world has shut down, everything can come to a little bit of a standstill. I think being in a community as a community organization, we were immediately aware of the fact that children that accessed basically nutrition programs, but school nutrition programs, that immediately there was a sense of the whole world might go into a little bit of a holiday, but we had the reality of children that could no longer access nutrition programs. So immediately, I think from Uviwe's side, we're just not the kind of people that could sit still and watch and sit in cozy corners in a community. So what was awesome is that I think out of our whole action plan with COVID, that we, these things, when you look back, you can call it different phases, and we had a strategy, relief, then we would restore, and then we renew. But you never know what those words really mean until you're busy implementing. So during the relief stage, I think, to some extent we said to ourselves, but we're not in the business of soup kitchens. We're not in the business of delivering clothes. But I think what we saw in the whole of the country, the absolute goodwill in Port Elizabeth, Kebega, sorry, I forgot now the city's new name, but the goodwill that was there, and what we said to ourselves is going back to the principles of ABCD. What can we do with what we have? So yes, we don't have food gardens, we don't have a lot of material assistance and groceries and food, but what we had is our bus. And we started a kind of a transporting service. For those of you that can recall, during the first lockdown, you needed an essential service license almost to be able to travel. Everyone was under lockdown. So we could actually, from people that had more, we could actually go and fetch groceries, clothing. As you can see from those photos, we could pull together different food parcels, and we could deliver it at communities. Soup kitchens, we had the opportunity to network with soup kitchens. We had the opportunity to actually also look after the children and youth who used to attend our programs, which during that period was in lockdown. So yes, the amazing thing about the Uviwe team is give them a challenge, give them a crisis, and we will see the gift in it, the opportunity. So we immediately shifted gears. I think what was critical for me is that we maintained our commitment to be relevant to the needs of children in the community. And at that stage, the need was food, it was material assistance, and we could actually, to the extent that we could access those resources, we could assist the children. I think what we also quickly learned was that where we could rely on in-person relationships, we had to move to digital fundraising and digital communication, and everything happened online. But as you can see the picture of these lovely two young people with their blankets, we also had the opportunity to then partner with For Good, which is an online space where NGOs and volunteers or corporates basically meet each other in terms of the gifts that they each have to share. So I think we've made beautiful friends over the online channels and the digital world. And it also created a space for people in our organization. I think this means maybe because I see you, but you've also, embraced that opportunity to say, how do I engage with youth? But so that all of our coordinators, all of our ECD people basically started to explore ways to say, immediately we provide some relief, or we partner with and work with soup kitchens to provide that relief. But how do we reconnect with children, with youth, with families again? And I think that was a huge transition in a certain way, but we tried to keep it simple. And that is when we entered the what we then called the restore phase. In other words, we kind of, I think at that stage, to be honest, we thought we can go back to the old way, but it was a kind of, how do we restore creating our ECD programs again, or refreshing them? How do we continue with the after school program? And I think the beauty of when there's a crisis and really being part of a team such as Uviwe, we could look at the crisis and we could say, how do we use the crisis to almost rediscover our purpose and do away with the maybe non-essentials in a way? But we were fortunate to be able to say, while ECD was still in a national lockdown due to legislative requirements, we again said, what do we have? We had 4 buildings. We had staff with passion and heart for young people at risk. And I think it's so true, the reading from Shane's presentation as well, or report, that we could see that children that under normal circumstances were already marginalized, that was left behind, that it just got worse for them. So with our committed staff, passionate hearts, skilled youth facilitators, as well as willing and able ECD practitioners that could at that stage joined us, we started during the restore phase at the 4 buildings, what we now know as Boys and Girls Clubs. And it was an awesome journey. I think it was then that we realized we could still assist young people with food, but we could actually provide a safe space. And I think what we then realized is it's the connection that really provided for the children a space where we did some vision boards. We could explore with the kids what was happening for them. What did this COVID thing mean? So whilst we were trying to almost regather, regroup our own thinking, I think connecting with young kids again, seeing also what they are going through, that restore phase was probably for us a phase where it gave us hope as well. I think for any organization, when you go through COVID lockdown and suddenly the old ways of raising funds and raising friends, which seemed not to be possible at that stage, you kind of start to kind of lose hope. I think nowadays we talk about COVID fatigue, but COVID had not only a lockdown, a psychological, economic impact, but it kind of disconnected us as people. So the Boys and Girls Club was a wonderful place to connect again with community, to connect with parents. And from the Boys and Girls Club at the 4 centers, when the ECD lockdown regulations lifted, when we reopened ECD, we knew that now we can go full force again. And for Uviwe, that basically meant at that stage COVID protocols, but we're all back at work, meaning that we're actually interacting with the community and meeting those immediate needs for all the kids. And proudly so, our youth program, Siapambile, also took on a new energetic, I almost want to say wave, but we could attract again a group of young people. I almost want to say vibrant, energetic, young people. I think that's the difficulty for me to actually do justice. But if any person who was maybe who's a part of the AGM that was also at their graduation, it's their testimonies, it's their sharing their stories that I almost want to say, as much as what we know that we impact many lives, I think altogether Uviwe in terms of statistic touched 757 young people's lives. But I can tell you for every young person on this slide, their lives were touched in a way that it's a significant defining moment. So yes, we might not have had 200 youth going through Siapambile, but for every one of the youth that under this period of the period that we're reviewing, I know that it was a life-changing experience. And to be able as an organization to invest in young people so that there's not only from an early childhood development phase, but also through the, what we, I almost want to say we, and I'm still talking we, but I am still we. So sorry, I'm just realizing it's we. But yes, from ECD phase to young boys and girls club teams, but also into the youth, young adulthood, to be able to support young people, to give direction, to be a partner with them. That's an awesome experience. And I think an advantage actually, because the beauty of this cycle is that eventually from the group of young people that, as we would say, graduate from Siapambile, we often find that we can recruit youth facilitators for the boys and girls clubs again. So in that sense, I think we're fortunate that we are blessed with young people who want to give back to the community, who want to be part of something where they can also make a difference in other young people's lives. And I think as much as what Siapambile has, together with partners that I know is probably part of the AGM tonight, but Mr. Henry Eithaler and digital literacy programs, I think now Uviwe is in the phase where it's about renewing. So restoring, to some extent, we were hoping maybe we can go back to a normal, but we also, I think all of us now know that the normal ain't normal, the way that we used to know pre-COVID. But in the renew phase, it's about, I think, really enhancing what we've learned during the lockdown periods, that, and you can see it from the slide, that doing the mural was a beacon of hope in Shorterville, but it also brings hope, energy, and safety for children during and amidst economic crisis, community crisis, but that we should never give up on the hope. And I think through the establishment or the start of the Leave No Child Behind campaign, we also realized that there was still opportunity to be able to partner with external partners, where as an organization, we didn't move away from our mission, but we realized that there was even a bigger call to make sure that children that was already marginalized would not be left behind because of a worldwide pandemic. And I think in this renew phase, we will continue to have to look at creative, innovative, sustainable ways of how do we help at-risk children and youth not to be left behind in terms of literacy, digital literacy, in terms of safety, in terms of education, those cornerstones that's really part of why Uviwe exists. So yes, there's opportunity, there's challenges. I think if you will allow me just to reflect from a personal space as well, there was a poem written by Jason J. Bucks, a lot of community, I almost want to say partners, who came together to collectively start saying, but what's happening in the northern areas? How can we protect our children? The world is not a perfect place. It's not easy to always maintain partnerships. Individually, we might struggle, but I truly believe that it's in the collective partnerships that we're going to form where the future for Uviwe is going to lie. I'm very excited when I watch the Facebook page and I see the youth center being really given birth to. So I think I know on the inside it's not easy. And maybe when we look at Facebook and other social media platforms, Instagram, which Uviwe is doing excellent. I know on the inside it's tough. And probably in my heart of hearts, I wish that I could almost say goodbye to the organization with probably a 2 or 3 million investment. Shane, Ian, from a financial point of view, sustainability, I know that would have been the ideal. And that's just a bit of, someone once said to me, you never stabilize a nonprofit. And I was so convinced that there is a stage or a phase where you could stabilize a nonprofit. But I think as long as we keep on doing what we truly believe our calling is, our mission and vision is, it keeps us humble. It keeps us on our knees. I know financially it's been tough as well for Uviwe, but I think it's so encouraging to see that Uviwe has not given up on the hope that we're projecting for young children and for youth, but that also within the organization, amidst a lot of roles that have changed, amidst a leadership transition period, that you truly stay committed to doing, I think, what we should be doing in the community, but what you're called to be doing. So I really take my hat off for Uviwe. And yeah, in closing, I used to say, that out of every crisis, out of everything that happens, there's a gift. And I must be honest, Uviwe, in certain cases or instances, I wish I could carry the gift of resilience, the gift of endurance, and truly, truly a heartbeat that you have for children and for the community. I can only salute you. It was an honor to be part of the organization for more than a decade. It's wonderful to be part of this AGM. You will forever be in my heart. So proudly, Uviwe. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anna Louise. And thank you for representing Uviwe even in your attire that you have on this evening. And thank you so much for taking us through your director's report. I can honestly say as a staff member, I'm actually encouraged by the reminders of, all that we are doing. Because, sometimes when you in the coordinating and the implementing, you get so caught up in all of that, especially when it's not easy. And I'm sure many can relate within their field of work, but I think there's power in reflection. So thank you so much for sharing with us. We definitely do miss you. Thank you for all that you have done for us and the organization and the communities that we serve. And I think in closing, let me also thank a few others. We'd like to extend a special thank you to our board for their guidance and leadership throughout the challenging period of COVID-19. We'd also like to thank our staff. Our staff that keeps on rendering the best possible services to ensure that Uviwe creates pathways for children and youth to thrive. Without you, there will be no Uviwe. So thank you so much to all our dedicated and committed staff. Again, thank you, Anna Louise, for still keeping Uviwe close to your heart, for all the mentorship and the assistance, where it's needed, the WhatsApp phone calls. Thank you so much. We know that in your transition and in your new journey, there's so much that you're dealing with, that you still make time for Uviwe staff. So thank you so much, Anna Louise. And then we'd also like to thank our community partners. Anna Louise mentioned some of them. We have Henry Eitalo with us tonight from UIT Consulting. Thank you so much for your contributions in the past year. And you will be serving on our board as well, so thank you. We also want to thank Ansi van der Westhuizen from Yes Indeed Facilitators, one of our partners. We want to thank Mpendulo Savings, Seven Intaba Training and Development, Dream Exchange, Harambe Youth Employment Accelerator, SA Youth, and the For Good team, which is the For Good, the online platform that Anna Louise mentioned. Then we would also like to extend thank you to our donors, the Department of Social Development, NMG, FEM, KFC, and many more anonymous donors and sponsors, as well as those who have individually taken initiative to support Uviwe. Thank you so much. We also would like to thank Mazars for our year-end audit. And then we also would like to thank Carla Jonker, the founder of Startingly and PE lead ambassador for Future Females, Future Females, Port Elizabeth. Carla is the one who is making all of this happen online. She managed the registration process as well as the proceedings of this online AGM. And then thank you also to everyone who has taken the time to attend this evening. We really appreciate your attendance. And then we know that there's been some who have participated by commenting. Thank you for your comments. We do acknowledge them. And we do have some time, so I'm just going to take the liberty to read some of the comments. There's only two. We have one comment from Shane Agnew, our chairperson. Welcome and thank you to our new board members. We also have another comment from Lemise Botha. She said that it's lovely to see you and presenting your final report, Anna Louise. Well done to you, the board and staff of Uviwe. Your remarkable work makes a positive difference for many vulnerable children. Thank you so much, Lemise. If I'm not mistaken, she is from PE Mental Health. Thank you, Lemise. And then we have another comment from our former director, Anna Louise Olivier. Congratulations, Uviwe board, staff, and young people on a year's committed work and impacting the lives of children. All the best for continuing to create pathways for children. You are the best. Thank you so much, Anna Louise. You are the best. Please do be reminded that you can download our AGM pack or the link to the AGM pack is in the chat box. And then you need to request the financial statement should you want to have a look at that. The host, Carla Lunke, will be ending the meeting soon. So you are welcome to leave the meeting before that. Thank you once again from all of us at Uviwe. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great Heritage Day and long weekend. Just a last comment, the recording will also be shared on request. Thank you. Thank you, Deirdre. Thank you, Ian.